Greetings, everyone. This is Adam Abraham here again. I don't know anyone, and it seems like every day I'm hearing of people, but I don't know anyone, or a day doesn't go by that I'm not hearing of someone's predicament, someone's plea, someone's pleading for help, monetary help. And in other words, they are indicating that whatever they've done in their life, there is a need for funds to actually improve something. And in some cases, it's not improve, it's to get it up to snuff. Something is so below par right now that they need more than what they have available, or they don't have a stream coming in that would actually help them ameliorate the situation. I'm not even talking about disasters, because a disaster is happening everywhere, and we've certainly had our environmental events here recently with hurricanes, for example, Hurricane Ian, just most recent in the southeast. Yet whenever you hear this and wherever you hear it, you're going to know of something happening where people are going to need some kind of stream of assistance to help them, I want to say, normalize or bring back to normal, but sometimes it's, again, to just get rid of the calamity. With all that being said, the reason for this particular video is that our ways of seeking funds or creating it have not really changed. We've been running in the same tracks for quite some time, and you have the one side where people are investing. They want to use their money to make money. People are exchanging their own time and their energy and their efforts to make money or to bring it in, and oftentimes that's not enough. But even when it is, they get connected to and in the habit of doing that, and whatever their actual dreams are, whatever their actual purpose in life that they, it really makes them want to, what they felt they came here for, the things that they want to do, they get set aside so that they can pursue these things, so that they have this stream. The stream becomes the most important thing. So as the crypto space has come about over the last 15 years or so, new ways of acquiring value assets have come about, and they are continuing to. This is quite an evolving situation, and it is in the beginning still of the beginning. Even 15 years, 5 years for me being in the crypto space, but it's still in the beginning. What's new? And what we're going to do right here, I've done some videos on co-op crowd. Crowdfunding is not new now. It's fairly new. It's 20 years or so in the making. It's been around. It's one way that people on one side can appeal to others to raise money. Then you've got investment sides. You've got all these different methods. But what is new in the area of flow, cash flow, growth, and acquisition? It's co-op crowd. There's something organic about it. And what I'm going to basically do in this video is to actually go through a presentation, my interpretation of what co-op crowd does, how it works, and why it works, and why, as it is, it's sustaining and will sustain. Okay, it's sustainable, I think, is the question. I want to stay in the present, in the moment. As to what futures are, we don't know, but we can we can project what our sense of the future is, as opposed to making projections about the past. So what we're going to do is do a little presentation. And we're going to start as I set up these screens. Okay, so here we go. You'll see some screens because I did another video and I used this picture here, the power of cooperation. and it's a good place to begin for this next one. I've made some modifications to the presentation, but here we go. And that is, this is an extraordinary growth ahead. And as an example to start, I'd like to set some perspective, and we want to take the example of redwood tree seeds. When you look at redwood tree seeds, they are really, really tiny. In fact, that dime gives you some idea of the perspective and how small they are. I guess if you had them in someone's hand, even more, but they look like specks almost. But when you look at that, any one of these will grow into one of these. And so just to start us off, this is an analogous situation to show that for what you put in, what you're using to seed your account, you will be growing something that is not only enormous, it has enormous potential and an enormous effect on the quality of your life. Now, with that said, I'm bringing up what I call the principles of the middle way. If someone has heard of the middle way, it's typically associated with Buddhist teachings. But there are other analogies to this too. This particular quotation I actually got off of the middlewayinitiative.org, and it is appropriate to this situation. Through the wisdom of the middle way, we find another option, another way of knowing beyond binary extremes. This is available to us by virtue of being human. It's the best of who we are. And so there's the traditional yin and yang symbol with a little bit of extra on top layered on there. And in this particular scenario, though, we're going to see this, say, from the financial environment. The yin and yang of, that's not the yin and yang of it, but different types of environments, such as the area of investing, as we talked about, trading and things like that. I'll say in contrast to charity and gift giving. And what we're going to do right off the bat here is say that relative to co-op crowd, it's neither. Co-op crowd actually would represent, in this particular scenario, the path that is neither of the two. It interfaces with, is tangent to both, but it's a different option. In one respect, if you're looking at it in one direction, it would be the middle path with each on the other side, so to speak. It's another option. It rewards for building one's own self-sufficiency and community. These are things which are totally intangible, quite frankly, in terms of the quality of both, especially you talk about self-sufficiency. But self-sufficiency is the result of something else that one will have done. And in this particular situation, each co-op crowd member is building their own self-sufficiency with the help of each other co-op crowd member and the co-op crowd system itself. It's offering relief from, we call it, I said, binary and political extremes, freedom from perpetual reaching, as well as chronic insufficiency. These are things that haven't even been terms for, but when you look at life as people are often living, they're reaching and reaching for something that is oftentimes out of their reach. And it's not that they're looking for the dollar. They're looking for sufficiency of dollars, sufficiency of drachmas and anything and whatever else, or rubles and whatever else that they need at the point in time. And therefore, they really need a flow. They need a flow that has and produces a sufficient amount of that for them to be able to handle and to be self-sufficient. Self-sufficient people, a community of self-sufficient people, is a community to be reckoned with in the sense of a quality of life. Not from the standpoint that they're badasses, but they're happy asses, so to speak. So co-op crowd, going to this next screen, is the development of brainchild, if you will, of David T. Rosen. And these aren't his bodyguards here. They had an event in Toronto where he's based. He's Canadian, and they had something out in the square downtown Toronto. It's a business. It doesn't need a huge office structure or the types of things that we're used to. These things are possible now, being on a computer, being on a cloud, being wherever, okay, being on blockchains. So just wanted to provide that part. Now, where are we going with this? So here's some thoughts about Co-op Crowd. Co-op Crowd integrates algorithmic, geometric, and fractal modeling methods with blockchain enabling components to create the most efficient and productive cooperative donation exchange system ever. That's a lot of words, but I will say it again. I'll read it again, actually. Co-op Crowd integrates algorithmic, geometric, and fractal modeling methods with blockchain enabling components to create the most efficient and productive cooperative donation exchange system ever. Remember the redwood seed and the redwood. This is the corollary to that. In this case, we'll have the image of the Co-op Crowd donor, and you'll see, in contrast to the model that we'll show you of the conventional system, each donor is a recipient. So every Co-op Crowd member is a donor and recipient of donations. Unlike investment mechanisms that promise you larger returns at greater risk or over longer periods of time, Co-op Crowd requires a small financial input, really a small comparative amount of time, but produces substantial, calculable, ongoing payment with low risk. Funds are dispersed immediately upon activation of new invited members and are available for withdrawal immediately by recipients. Co-op Crowd members, there's the donor recipient. Giving a little allows all who give in kind to power their dreams. There you go. Co-op Crowd tokens. This is the centerpiece of the Co-op Crowd system. Oh, or the lifeblood, as it turns out. They establish the unique presence, status, active or inactive, for example, and lineage of each member, as well as donations made and disbursements distributed and received, and to whom. The Co-op Crowd tokens buy time. They buy the member time in the Co-op Crowd ecosystem, giving each member the opportunity for their crowd stage to fully mature. The estimate is that maturity of one's crowd stage can occur within a period of 84 days. Now, that's after certain conditions are made. The conditions have to be met, at which point in time the maturity can occur. So we'll talk about these steps that need to be met. Once those conditions are met, growth occurs. Oh, here we go. So once first and second level memberships are active and passive income growth is in effect, new tokens point donations received from your lineage to you. So in other words, new tokens meaning from the new members who have joined as part of the residual effect and the ongoing effect of your membership. New members will have funds, or a certain part of the funds that they enter into the system, that will be funneled to you. Co-op 25 tokens at 28 USDT each are basic to all members. 3 are required. Co-op 250 tokens, which are 280 USDT each, or 10 times the first, if selected, pay an additional 10 times, coincident with the Co-op 25. There is a proprietary integrated crypto wallet in your Co-op Crowd back office. It's a private, decentralized Web3 digital wallet integrated into your Co-op Crowd dashboard to let you build your own crypto reserve on the blockchain with a small amount of seeding capital. So over 100 cryptocurrencies are accepted as far as funding and getting into Co-op Crowd. However, you can use USDT or USDC now through ETH, ERC20, USDT, or Sol-based, Sol meaning Solana, which is a blockchain. So these blockchain wallets are included. You can actually even see here that the two different blockchains are represented right there in the wallet itself. And this becomes your financial interface into and out of the Co-op Crowd ecosystem. And there are many other things that you can do as well from within your dashboard. Withdrawals are in USDT or USDC, and there may be others. Withdrawals are in stable coins with no conditions or restrictions. And when we say that, coming out, just as an example, I love Drip, so this is not a complaint whatsoever. You put your sums in, you lock your principal into Drip, and they are essentially there in the contract, and they remain there. In exchange for that, Drip will pay you back 1% of your deposit each day, which you can either take out, therefore you'll get 3.65 times what you put in, or you can roll it over, and essentially while the earnings are made, you're turning it back over and building your principal up. That is a different scenario, and therefore those funds, in order to get you literally need to sell your funds in order to get the value from it, and in so doing you deplete what you have available. So, and this is not specific to Drip. In fact, they are doing steps to make that not necessary. But it is, as I'm listening to a new platform that is coming up called Zen with an X, they are starting essentially with nothing and inviting people to drop hundreds or thousands of dollars into this platform, and all they have to do apparently is pay the gas fees, whatever the gas fees for minting these coins. They don't exist yet. You come in and you mint them, you just simply pay for gas fees. But the value that anyone is to get or can get from it will still come from selling the coins, first of all, therefore depleting their supply, and in addition to that, waiting for some value to accrue as more people join it. It doesn't have any intrinsic value now, and it won't happen for some time, if it does it ever, and yet there are thousands of people jumping in to try to make that happen. So this is part of the freedom that I talk about, where you're not concerned about price, and we'll go over this too. I'll just stay on point here. Co-op Crowd system will only withdraw your subscription amount, which is $28 for Co-op 25 or $280 for the Co-op 250, from your balance every 28 days. So there needs to be that amount or that much in your wallet at that particular time. Conventional crowdfunding platforms look more like this. Well, okay, it's centralized. It's kind of the point. And they take a cut of the transactions that are occurred. But in so doing, they link people who have funds. And you'll see the plus and the minus. They typically we have a smaller minus and a bigger plus, so to speak. So they've got some surplus that they can put into something like this. And they are linked with people who need funds. You got an idea, you got an invention, and these people tend to have a larger minus because there's a deficit. Again, they don't have sufficiency to their plus. everybody has both, so to speak, but it's a matter of what are the degrees, of bothness, okay? So, Co-op Crowd is literally unique. Every Co-op Crowd member donates and receives, and their donation compared to what they receive, their donation is going to be small compared to what they receive. And connective innovations allow members to receive far more than they donate. A new member's donation is disbursed to their inviter plus 9 others in their lineage. And this is so 10 generations from the individual. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then now there are more. Say if we were talking here, this would be the 10th for this individual. So everything that applies to one applies to all. So let's look at the active work. The active work is you joining, you are connected now to the person who invited you, and you have your 3 tokens. When you've got that, you basically now want to go and you've got to put and associate people with each of those 3 tokens. So there's one person that has now not only joined because they're connected to one of your tokens, you're part of their lineage, and you essentially become part of 3 people's lineage, and they have their own 3 tokens. And when they do this, you receive $8.75 on the basic Co-op 25 platform. If you elected to get the Co-op 250, it basically means that you also receive an additional $87.50 coincident with the $8.75. So when the second member activates, boom, here they are, and the process is repeated. Third member activates, and the process is repeated again. Then, therefore, you go to the next step. This looks a little different. Now you've got your 3 people. They are all, am I doing this correct? Let me see. Step 2. All right, let's see what happens here. So each of the 3s that you invited, they are now in the process of getting that same or replicating what you had just done. And every time, and when that occurs, when this is filled out in this way, and that disbursement that I mentioned on the last slide happens for each of them in the same way. And you'll see in the next slides that when these are added, you are getting additional disbursements, not $8.75, but you're getting disbursements every time this occurs too. Each member's crowd stage is unique, and you might see that from what we just looked at. But let's look at it a different way. No 2 member crowd stages will consist of the same donors, and if they could be pictured, they would resemble the root systems of trees. That certainly kind of reminds you, doesn't it? That too. This is definitely more than 88,572, but it was too beautiful to leave out. And it's the idea that this is what you're growing. Co-op Crowd is far more like an organic process, and it's because living people are interacting with living people, and it's going to happen in its time. We can elect, and as you'll see here shortly, we can outline a scenario on what would make say the best way or a desirable way of doing things, but it's going to be the way it's going to be. So let's look at the next thing here. How the co-op crowd system works. So each gift is dispersed automatically to 10 members connected by lineage. Oh, we mentioned this once, we'll do it again. Depending on the donation amount, the new member receives a minimum of 4 co-op 25 tokens. And well, these are tokens, these are not physical objects. These are packets of information and logic. They function like seeds. There's our reference to or an analogy to the redwood. And they are also function like connectors to organize and grow their own crowdfund. So essentially what you are doing is you are creating your own personal crowdfund, and you could say donation system with Co-op Crowd, which consists of 3 times 10 on a matrix. This is the geometric and the algorithmic components to this, and that matrix has 88,572 positions. So 1 token establishes your lineage with and your connection with the people who invited you, and the 3 additional tokens are passed to new invited donor members. When the new member activates, i.e. funds their account and receives their tokens, funds are then dispersed to the sponsoring lineage, starting with the first inviter. Disbursements are cyclical, repeating every 28 days from the date joined, or 13 times annually for each member. Now, the way that plays out, when I say each member, not everyone's necessarily going to join on the same day. It's not going to happen all at the same time. So you can see disbursements coming in basically every day, especially as more and more people join. Now, this is the cyclical residual cash flow progression with the Co-op 25. That's the basic system. Okay. So the first step is you buy 3 Co-op wallet activation tokens for a one-time out-of-pocket $84 plus exchange fees. I generally say it's around $100. Okay. Out-of-pocket is around $100. Step 2, choose 3 friends to give one of their Co-op 25 activations to within 7 days, just one time, who will each do the same steps 1 and 2 one time. Could also say within 7 days. The scenario that we're playing out here and you're about to watch is on the presumption that this all happens at each level within 7 days. This is how the 84 days scenario comes out. If these things occur within this 7-day period, and it can, I didn't, but it can, then you'll see from week to week, this is a scenario of the progression of your income from week to week on the basis that it's done within 7 days. So let's go for it. You are here, and now you've got your 3 people and who are activated. Okay, so you've sent out your 3 tokens, and those people have activated. They bought their tokens. You remember the 875 that I showed before? Then when you 875 times 3, that's around $26. Now they're doing the same thing, and they're sending those tokens out to 3. And at that point in time, the people that received those tokens, they've activated, and therefore this group now, these are 9 more people now, but they are each receiving $26 just like you did. But you are also now receiving $38. You're receiving the $875 from the first group because it happens every 28 days. You're receiving from them. Okay, it's a chain, so to speak, of donations, a donation chain. Now, these people have sent out, and there are 9 more people now. But each of the 3 that sent these out are getting their $26 from their people that they've invited. And in addition to this, from 9 people, you're receiving something else that turns out to be an additional $12, so that you're getting $38 total. Now, this "you're done" essentially means, from a passive income standpoint, your work is done. The group that you sent your second level, who got the 9, they are now sending theirs out. And when that occurs, it's 27 tokens now that are sent out. And when the recipients of those 27 tokens each have activated, they are now getting $26. And now the group up here is getting $38. They are now done, so to speak. You will receive $87 from the 38 because 27 more people are coming, have now activated, and now so you're getting that incremental from this group, and it all comes out to $87. Everyone is doing this within 7 days, so the funds are going out now from this group, and it's 81 people. And so when that group, now the recipients activate, they get their 26. The inviters are now at 38. Their inviters are at 87. Where are you with 81 more people on there? You're at 249. So process. This is now, okay, this is week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let us continue. This group is now sending out 243 more. You see how the passive income part goes, because these folks are actively doing this for their own self-interest, if you will, but it benefits everyone else because everyone is doing the same thing. They now are at the $26 range. Their inviters are at 38. The previous ones are 87. Previous to that are at 249. Where are you? With 243 more, you're at $538 now. Okay? And while it's not going to stop, all these people are motivated to do the same thing. So this is where you have shown, you've taught, you've demonstrated, etc., for people to be self-motivated, in this case, for their own self-interest. They are seeking to have that sufficiency for themselves, at which point they can do all kinds of things, but they need to create the flow. So they don't have to be pushed or cajoled to send their tokens out to someone or to invite people who are also going to do the same thing. So this group now, when they invite, there's now 729 tokens being put out. All of these are being pointed back to you. So when they got their 3 going, they're at $26, those recipients, and the process happens again, going up 87, 249, 538. Where are you now with $1,791 when that additional 729 people are now receiving? So here you go again, and you can kind of follow this, because this is going to be now 3 times that as they do the invitations. 2,187 people now are starting their journey, and so they're getting $26 when they have distributed those 3 tokens, because they all bought them and they're distributed, and the process goes up. Everyone goes through that same process. Where are you now? $4,183. So week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in 7 weeks, you're now up to $4,183. So, but you take this now times 3, 6,561 tokens. And when those people have their 3 active, they're now receiving $26, and the process trickles up. Now you're going from 4,100 with 6,000 more people on there. You're now receiving $10,744 from this aggregation of replicated activity, duplicated activity. So you take this now times 3, because they're all doing the same thing. 19,683 people. This is, talk about the power of not just cooperation but coordination too. So they are now on the $26 stage, and things are growing up the chain from 10,744. You add 19,683 more people on there, you're now getting $42,000. And this is now by your 9th week. We're all just looking at if this happened within a 7-day time frame for each individual. Next is 59,049 people on that 9th level, all of which are connected back to you. And when they activate and they're at their $26 level, then here's the ripple effect as it goes up. You can see the progressions, you can see how it grows, and you're now going from 42,000. You've added now 59,000 additional people doing the same thing, and that balloons your income to 175,589. Now here's the thing I need to say here and understand. This process at this level does not stop. These 59,049 people whose wallets are all connected back to you, they are at ground zero. They're at week 0. They're at $26 a month now, just like you are. They are now, if you put these people up here, except 59,000 of them, their process continues along that same line. Everyone in that system who does the same thing gets the same thing occurring. And in addition to that, you start to see the sustainability of it. There's plenty of funds. There will be plenty of funds available, so that you would literally receive $175,589 per 28-day period, or 13 times a year. That would be your residual cash flow. That's what it would top out, and that's on the Co-op 25. That's just with $100, roughly speaking, in. So total is 88,572 unique donors donating to you, and every member who completes the 3 qualifying steps every 28 days. In addition to that, from depositing around $100 in the Co-op crowd and inviting 3 people who do just as you did. So we're going to do a summary. This is talking about redundancy. We're going to do a summary of Co-op 25 before we move on. We want to remember the redwood seed, the redwood tree seed. First of all, a little tiny seed. So let's do this. Let's summarize. We join with a donation of about $100 USDT. You get 3 Co-op 25 tokens. You receive a connective Co-op 25 token from your inviter. invite 3 friends or associates with your Co-op 25 tokens who join with just the same amount of around $100 USDT. And again, for this model, we're presuming that's all that occurs. They will send out their 9 Co-op 25 tokens, because remember now, these 3 people have also received 3, so they have 9 to send out altogether. And those who receive it, they do the same thing. Through replication, your crowd stage grows with no more active recruiting on your part to 88,572 positions. You could say that's it matures at that amount, and that flows 175,589 USDT to you every 28 days. Now, that's really nice, but annualized, that comes out to about $2.2 million, $2,282,657 minimally. Your minimal income flow after this occurs is $2.2 million. Now, the other part of this is that the occurrence occurs after those first steps have happened, when you become passive. You don't really have to do anything else, essentially, to make that occur. So when you look at that, the greatest value is through coordinated cooperation, because that is what this is an example of. And quite frankly, the only example of. This is not something you do on your own. You do something in a coordinated way with other people. But the benefits by doing this will speak for themselves. Now, you're building value by restoring esteem, your own. You know, sometimes we don't realize the erosion in our own self-esteem until we start doing things that build it up again. And because our self-esteem is priceless, there is no value you can put on it. However, there is profit to be made when you give your self-esteem to others by doing things that are outside of what you know is best for yourself and the people that you love. But I'm hoping that you are part of one of those that you love. So this progression is like the first one, except that it involves the Co-op 250 token. And so essentially, you're buying, instead of 3 tokens in the first one, you're buying 4. The 3 are the Co-op 25 tokens, just like the first one did. But you also bought 1 Co-op 250 token. And the Co-op 250 token, it says it costs more than that, but bottom line, it's called a Co-op 250 token. Here we go. You simply choose 3 friends to give the Co-op 25 activation to, same as above, okay? Same time frame, the same stipulation. As far as this time frame progression and projection is concerned, it's presumed that everyone will do this within 7 days. Can it be done? Sure, it can be. What you do, your mileage will be what you make of it. If you don't do it within 7 days, if you don't do it within 7 weeks, it doesn't really matter. This is showing you what is possible for anyone to do. And quite frankly, if you achieve only a fraction of it, look at what it means. Let's start. You're going to see the numbers also look the same. The values are going to be different. There you go. So where there was $26, Now it's $260, and on and on. The beginning of passive income is after the second level is completed. Then you've got your 27. And so here, week 1, 2, week 3, and so 260 becomes your base, so to speak, and the progressions then occur. They just happen faster. So in 3 weeks' time, then you're looking at 870, and by the end of 4 weeks, when you have a co-op 250 token, now where you were at 249, you're at 2490 within a month's time, less than a month's time. Now here's the other thing. I'll talk about this. You only bought one co-op 250 token, and the funds are channeled through the system every 28 days, and your position is maintained as an active if there is sufficient funds in your wallet to cover the expense for that month or for that period. And so this is where we get into the point of talking about one-time out-of-pocket, because even though you're only at week 4, there's going to be plenty, even though you can take any or all the funds out. It certainly behooves you to keep enough in to cover your balance every 28 days. But you can see that it, even after your first level, that there's plenty in there to cover your balance while the system continues to grow. So the next group, you got your 243 now, and they're at the 260. Their inviters were at 380 now, 870, 2490, and now you're at $5,380 in the 5th week. Add 729 new people, they become at the 260 level, and it grows and goes up. And where are you now? $17,910. And you see why it's nice to, you start seeing a benefit, a useful, meaningful benefit much faster when you just add one co-op 250 token. You go from up to $41,830. Can you imagine getting $41,000 every 28 days? If you can't, well, everyone can imagine it. Will you imagine it? Would you be okay with that? Will you permit yourself to receive it? And I'll stick with that because only you can answer that question. There's no other question. If you choose not to say yes to that, it's between you and you, okay? But this is how the system actually works. Now we're at week 8 and just moving up, going from 41,830 to $107,440. Okay, so now we're going to add what, 19,683 more people, and they start their process. They're all just beginning, and you can pretty much say they're some pretty happy campers. So everyone knows 3 people that can benefit by having more. There just simply is. There's a long way that you can go before, because not only is the point of people getting in and receiving this, but it's the things that you can do in your communities, the things that you can do in your families, the things that you can do to help people to take stress off of themselves, so to speak, that they've been carrying for so long. And where are you at? 427,290 by your 9th week. And by this time, we've got, whatever that number of people are down there at week 9, after that 19,000 more came. But now they have their tokens to distribute, and it's 59,000 49 more people. Now they're down at their 260 level, and the process is going up. The ripple effects are occurring, and so each one of the peoples in your lineage, their lives are changing. Each one. Contrast that to the conventional crowdfunding. The donators donate, the receivers receive, but the donators, they may get some products, they may get some merch, some quirks, some perks, so to speak, but their life isn't changed significantly in any way. In this case, every member's life is changed tremendously. And where are you when this is matured? You're at $1,755,890 every 28 days. Can you imagine that? Is the question. And will you permit that? Will you be positive in your thinking about this? Will you be positive in communicating this to others? Because the biggest question mark is not the system in this case, it's the individual, it's each of us. 88,572 unique donors donating directly to you, and every member who completes the 3 qualifying steps every 28 days. And as I said before, I think there's one other thing here, from depositing, in this case, about $400 into Co-op Crowd. Now, there are people with crypto projects, there are people with fiat projects, there are people who are in the stocks and investment and everything else, and they're putting in thousands upon thousands of dollars here and there, and then they're waiting and hoping, and they are rising and falling with the price of this, and they are on edge with this occurring and that occurring. None of this, when I say that call this the middle way, is indifferent to all of these things. And the one other thing that, as I mentioned before, the people at this level here who are at 260, when you've got 10 levels down, there are 59,049 of those who would be connected to your wallet. When they're active, they're connected to your wallet, and now they're in the process of starting this process all over for themselves. And essentially, the world population is approaching 8 billion people. It wouldn't be a matter here of thinking about how this is all going to peter out. The more salient thing is to, as more people literally, one, use this, and not only are their life changed, their attitudes are changed about things. Their ability to do things on their own that would actually benefit their own in their place will be changed. Instead of causing migrations of people who are angry and traumatized and creating these traumas, people are in a better position to actually create havens, safe havens, harmonious havens right where they are. And actually even be welcoming, not because they are worried about their neighbor, but because people are coming to actually build upon that. It doesn't require the entire world to do this. It simply requires enough of the people of the world to set their stress, their fears, their anger, their differences aside and unite on something that everyone can do, because everyone, these people who are on different sides of whatever these issues and stuff are, they have a common need for sufficiency. They have a common need for harmony. Everyone does. For the sake of consistency, we're going to summarize the Co-op 250 progression. And keeping in mind our red wood seeds, our little tiny seeds. In this case, we're going to join with a donation of about $400 in USDT value, or USDC in some stable coin. You're going to get 3 Co-op 25 tokens just before, plus you're going to receive 1 Co-op 250 token. You receive a connective Co-op 25 token from your inviter. You're going to see virtually everything else is the same with the exception of the amount put in and that one token received. So now you're inviting 3 friends and associates with your Co-op 25 tokens just as before, with just the same amount. In this case, let's presume everyone does 400, just like you did. They send out their 9 Co-op 25 tokens. You see the use and the purpose that the Co-op 25 tokens play. They are fundamental, foundational to the structure of the platform itself and all the relationships between all of the members. Through replication, your co-op stage grows with no more active recruiting on your part to 88,572 positions. In other words, it matures at that point. That is its limit. It's not the limit to the size of the platform. It's the limit to the size of your crowd stage. And in that case now, for that additional $300 some odd that you put in, and the same amount of work, it produces a flow of about $1,755,890 in USDT to you every 28 days. Again, after this maturity to that position, as it saturates, so to speak. Annualized, the minimum income flow then after maturity would be $22,826,570. And that's coming in essentially, now in this case, this is annualized. That's every year. And you know, what reality will be, everyone will do the Co-op 25. Not everyone will do the Co-op 250. I think, actually, is that when you have a sufficient balance in your wallet, I think the system will automatically at least invite you to activate the Co-op 250 portion, so that even if you don't start with that, you will get that anyway. So that's the way this is working out. And again, just to summarize, or the summary, the greatest value is through coordinated cooperation, people working with each other, setting the things that are not important aside and focusing on that which is. And when that happens, not that much is required. A very small amount is required to put in to receive a huge, huge benefit in return. And even if it were only theoretical, this would be worth pursuing. The beauty of this is that it is actual. This is something we can all do like now. So here's some fundamentals. Co-op Crowd is the only platform that creates predictable, ongoing, passive income upon completion of the 3 reasonable steps, and which we've talked about. When your 3 active members each have 3 active members, or a total of 12, you have completed all requirements. Your cooperative will continue growing to 88,572 personal donors on its own. Okay, I say on its own because the people who are doing this are self-motivated. I say this on its own because you are self-motivated. If you're watching this, it's because you're motivated to do this, for yourself. You want this experience, and you're willing to help the people that you talk to get started, get involved. And it's not like you got to make it everything you do in your life. People talk about how this was like, it's like a MLMs, it's like a Ponzi scheme, things like that. These are terms, again, like something and being something are totally different things. That's one reason I've chosen to put these pieces together to show you this is not a either or thing. This is anything that is working for you, hallelujah. But if you got anything that works as good as this, let me know about it too. This, for what it asks you to put in and for what it has you to actually demonstrate in terms of the qualifications, anyone can do. So what you do is you choose what's called your 84. That's how much you require and for what purpose. And it doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to stop and ask yourself, how do I have to phrase this? You don't have to sit and write something out and hope to appeal to people to do something. It's not necessary whatsoever. All you need to do is choose it. The thing about 84 is that if we look upon this particular model of within 7 days that we highlighted, this can play out the maturing of your crowd stage can happen within 12 weeks time, 84 days. So you essentially are buying, by those 3 tokens, you're buying 84 days of activity without having to come out. And if it took you 90 days and it meant you had to come out of pocket, you just get some more tokens, and this is not the end of the world type of situation. This is a no stress thing, okay? And anyone can participate in this. And you can see too that the amounts of funds that you can gain by creating your own crowd stage, by growing your own crowd stage, your own personal one. The cool thing is that each member has their own, and no two are the same. So you don't have to worry about the depletion stuff. No concern about that. So you fund your account. The little squiggle here, the tilde, is about $100 in USDT value for the Co-op 25 tokens, 1 for lineage, 3 for inviting. That would give you 112 days. David Rosen, is the way he describes it, said, well, that gives you even 112 days to do it. Again, it's not that you're kicked out of the system if you don't. The point basically is that anyone can do this, and 84 days, 7 weeks, is plenty of time to do it. And again, if for whatever reason, if you're like me for that matter, and you need to think about this a whole bunch before you know how you want to say this, and it doesn't go away. The more I learned about this, the more I thought about it. Even when I didn't think about it, the ideas would come to me. These are signs, for me at least, okay? So give yourself the opportunity to have this experience. So the co-op combo is around $400, and that includes 4 co-op 25 tokens plus 1 co-op 250 token, and it pays the co-op. Because you have the co-op 250 token, you are paid an additional 10x coincident with your co-op 25 earnings. So 112 days for the co-op 25, 28 days for the co-op 250. Now, if it's going to take you, if you think it's going to take more than that, and I suggest don't be thinking that, because you'll always be right. If you find yourself that you're beyond 28 days or near whatever, you have to come out again if you want to be a part of that. Because only people who have put the funds in a co-op 250 will receive that. So here with me, I got the co-op combo, and when people join who get the co-op combo and they pay that extra funds for the co-op 250 token, then I benefit from that. I receive that additional payment. If I had not done that, if I didn't have an active co-op 250 token, then if someone joined with the co-op combo, I would not receive the additional $87.50. The next member in the lineage that does have an active co-op 250 token would receive it. And you would always be out of the loop with it too. It doesn't happen retroactively, okay? So I'd rather have it active and able to take it. That's just the way I look at it. So significant indifferences. This is one of the other things that really differentiates and distinguishes the co-op crowd ecosystem from virtually anything else. It allows and perpetuates and builds on a point or a case or a sense of indifference to certain things that people are definitely not indifferent to right now. One is rates of inflation. We are concerned about the price of this, and we talked about this. We talk about inflation, but it actually is the reduction in the value. Gosh, how would it feel to not care about the rate of inflation because you see your funds, your cash flow stream coming up at a rate that's faster than the rate of inflation? How cool is that? We're concerned about crypto volatility, the ups and the downs, which are actually normal and customary to the crypto space. You're indifferent to that. The price of Bitcoin doesn't matter. The price of whatever your favorite crypto is doesn't matter. Because there are ups and downs, you are actually able to make profits on those swings when you're into trading. But it's really an exercise in perpetual betting is what it is. You are betting on it going up or going down, and you're hoping for it to happen. And therefore, it takes you into this position, it takes you into a state of perpetual hoping. Hoping for a token price to go up, hoping for the token price to go down. Oh, feeling, oh gosh, an anxiety when it starts going down, even though you wanted it to stay up. I felt it. I know it. The sell pressure in order to live. I am grateful, for example, to in my drip experience when a flood happened in our little town in January, and I had been in drip long enough that I had at that point in that month, I was going to have 100 plus earned from that 1%. So I just let it sit there, and I was able to convert about $20,000 in useful money. Okay, I converted it back in, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, so that I could use it. I was able to do that after putting in less than $400, roughly speaking. That $400 got me around 60 some odd drip, because the price was then at the time around what it is now, just about the same. Accumulating by or building by compounding. And by the time December came about, I had 400 some odd drip, and that gave me the ability, I could actually project that in the month of January, I would earn over 100 or generate. If I just let it sit there, I would have about 100 some odd drip. The price had appreciated by that time, and it had continued to go up. So by the time that occurred, with 100 drip, which I was able to take out in January, the price of each drip was well over $100 at that time. And so that allowed me to actually do that, to convert and to bring that out. And now the price of drip has gone back down to where it was basically a year ago. Now, many things have changed because I have a lot more drip now. Instead of having 400 at the time, I started compounding again, and now I've got 3,800 drip. And so it's producing 38 drip a day now. But the issue here is that co-op crowd, first of all, would not deplete. If I were paying out for a flood assistance or to change to do the things that I needed to do at that time, because I depleted my drip, I spent the funds so that we could move and we could change, we could do the things that we had to do. Co-op crowd simply continues to put out without depleting. There's nothing like this. You know something? No regrets. I'm happy I could. I've done the other side where I've just put in, and then the platform went away, and so my stash was depleted that way too. So, it's everything is relative. So you also find yourself with the sell pressure. Sometimes in order to actually live, you've got to give or pass some of your assets off because you're always in that state. Then you've got your market conditions. There is something called mass crypto adoption happening, but then it's still associated with all these other things. The thing about Co-op Crowd, you're indifferent to concerns about sustainability. As I showed you with that lineage, now you've got 59,049 people at your 10th level, all building at their first and second levels and succeeding. And, needless to say, you're not limited to 3. You can invite more than 3 people. But all of this starts with just 3. So here's the basic steps. Obtain a crypto wallet. Some of you already have it, okay? But if you don't, you need to, and I say obtain crypto wallets. This is not something strictly or specifically about Co-op Crowd. This is about a change in lifestyle. This is a change in how you do and how you interact with digital assets. And so crypto wallets is a part of that. In other words, you move into the space. And so I don't say get one and then you focus only on that one and then it then all gets into if this one is working or not. Just get them, download them, put something in them. You don't have to put a lot in, and start using them and get into the habit of exchanging and knowing the things that you have to do to make those transitions. Create onboarding and offboarding paths. And I also have that in plural for yourself. What is onboarding? Onboarding is the process of taking some pocket money, we call it fiat money, maybe in your bank, wherever you keep it. I don't know, maybe mattress someplace. But if you have it in a bank, is you establish some pathways where you can get monies from your bank into a place, oftentimes on an exchange, where you can actually exchange that for crypto. And you're going to have to give some information. They have this stuff called KYC, Know Your Customer stuff. You're going to have to do it, if you want to participate in this particular situation. However, do that and start getting acquainted with the various things that you can do. Then you're going to convert your local currency into USDT, USDC, and these terms, ERC20, which refers to Ethereum-based, or SOL refers to Solana, in order to seed your Co-op Crowd position. Learn to manage and protect your crypto assets and convert them back to fiat as you need to. That's the offboarding. So when you're withdrawing from Co-op Crowd, for example, it's going to be in USDC, just as an example, and it's going to go to the wallet that you hold your USDC crypto in. At which point in time, now you've got some other place. It may be another wallet. It may also be a bank account where you want to have some dollars or you need some dollars. Therefore, you can convert it and you can send them back into your bank account. The other thing that you can do, which is just now coming up, and I'll do a video on it, I just learned about, is something called Juno.finance. And Juno.finance is like a bank. They have FDIC protected accounts for one thing, but it allows you to interact. It's like a go-between between these worlds where you can take and deposit your cryptos or have them on deposit in that account, and they will issue you a debit card, and you don't have to have it in fiat at all. If your crypto value is there, that becomes your debit card, and you can use that crypto value in the same way you do anything else. These are things that are happening and are available to you right now. And the other thing I'd say is become comfortable with and accustomed to having enough. In fact, that's something you can practice even before you have enough. You can go to that place in your mind and literally start feeling your way into sufficiency, the idea, the feeling of having enough to do the things that you want to do, realizing your 84, whatever it is, as a foregone, actually as a fact. It's a conclusive fact that has occurred, that's part of your reality. There's now a few other things here, a few extras. I'm suggesting here open accounts with several exchanges. Binance.us if you're in the States, Binance.com if you're in other parts of the world, Crypto.com, FTX.com, or others. Coinbase, millions of people are already in Coinbase, so yeah, I know they exist. Also, you can purchase more and more. You can purchase crypto directly through your wallet with a debit card. You can do this with MetaMask and with Phantom. Phantom is the new kid on the block that is connected to the Solana chain, but you can buy cryptos with a debit card right through MoonPay on your Phantom. I was checking my Exodus wallet just recently because I'd never done this. This wasn't available a year ago, or I don't know when it was the last time I checked my Exodus, and it wasn't available. This is a constantly evolving environment. And so your Exodus wallet, you can buy crypto without going to the bank. You can do it with your debit card. But that is your onboarding part. You still need to figure out ways to offboard, but that Juno can certainly be the case. So thing that you would do, and start having this in mind if you're already of a mind to be making this journey, is schedule your first what's called a VBR. What I'm doing right now would qualify as a VBR. If this is enough to move you, it's enough information that you can see what it's like, if you watch this far or not. But if you did do this and you are doing this, then this is something you can show to others, because what moved you will likely move them. And so if they are of a mind, if they are interested in doing this, invite your candidates to attend the VBR. This can also be done as a Zoom call. And you can certainly, if you're in choosing to do this, you've already made up your mind. I will know when you join, so to speak. I'll get a notice, so to speak. But we can also schedule live Zoom calls. We can also schedule live streams. The point basically is you want to be able to give people the information that they need in order to make a decision. I have done this, and I have structured this, the information that I put together based on my experience now in Co-op Crowd, my experience also in the crypto space, and also I'd like to say my ability to see the difference between what actually works and what does not. Then I can share that. And so we can answer questions that people may have. Co-op Crowd is really a unique environment. There is more support material available at smarterthanmoney.com. And what is Smarter Than Money is basically it's a group of people who, in fact, the fellow that started Smarter Than Money, Greg Baldwin, does Co-op Crowd presentations, and he does it tirelessly. It just turns out I want to say different things, and you go off the map and off the reservation at your own peril to some extent. But I knew what was important to me, and I've taken my own time to come to this place of being able to say it the way I say it and to actually see it through. And so, but bottom line is, no better people. It's a super, super guy. And this site, you would register, put your name and email address in. That's all they ask for. But there is other support material that's available. You can attend Zoom presentations also, which are done regularly, and you can hear the regular Co-op Crowd presentation. Again, mine's a little different, but it's mine, okay? But you can see the regular one. And I attended the regular ones, and I still do attend the regular ones, and they are useful, beneficial. There's one every Saturday morning, for example, and they just call it the locker room. And these are all members, And it's a Zoom call, and you get on, you say hello from wherever you are, etc. Some people from different countries are on that call at 9 a.m. Pacific time every Saturday morning. So there is a community that exists. There's also a STM co-op group on Telegram, same people, so to speak. And there are also corporate Zoom calls and presentations given by David T. Rosen. So he's the guy that came up with it. You got a chance, and as much as I respect and I love, for example, I'll mention his name, Forex Shark. Super guy. I understand totally what he's doing. I love his vision. He just makes a point not to be seen. You can hear him, you can hear his thoughts and his plans, and you can see the fruits of his labors in the platform that he has created, and I am totally grateful to him for it. Okay? But David Rosen has done those things, and he is right there in front of the camera. He's given the not only the presentations, but you can feel his authenticity, you can feel his heart.
If you don't get your question answered today, if you had something that you wanted to know or you felt that you needed to know, we've got support. But here's the no matter how many questions, I can answer another 300 questions. But the bottom line is this: if you don't complete the 3 steps, then nothing in Co-op Crowd is going to work for you. If you do complete the 3 steps, you're on your way to living a different life.
We need to be that courageous. We need to be that confident that what we're doing is actually what we say it is. And I've had a chance to test the system myself. And it's, the concept itself is unlike any other. And that's in a very good way. Finally, there's technical support you can get in your back office. So you can write someone, you need help for something, and the other Zoom calls, the Telegram, or the person that invited you don't have answers for you. You can still get technical support, and you can ask whatever question you need, because I've asked quite a few, but I've always gotten a response. And when something was a glitch someplace, it always got fixed. That's my experience with it. So get started. To do that, get started, okay? Exclamation point. Visit Co-op Crowd, click the join button, enter the sponsor ID of the member who invited you. And again, if someone told you about this and said, try this out, and they are members already, get their sponsor ID. Maybe you get a group together and decide right off the bat that this person is starting and they're getting in, and you are part of their initial 3, and you're ready to actually have your 3 ready as soon as you join. This does not have to take 7 or 12 weeks to mature. Right now, it is a new idea. In this particular case, I at least know that Co-op Crowd is stimulating, it's encouraging people to do something and to use a part of themselves that is overlooked when we are looking at, say, crypto is a solo sport. You tend to be alone with whatever you are doing that works against you, so to speak, that you are working against yourself. You have to, in this regard, with Co-op Crowd, look at yourself more than you need to look at someone else. And I'm going to finish this. Activate, fund your account, okay? And I'm getting ready to do something here with this little thing. Activate, fund your account, and invite your 3 new members who promise themselves that they will do as you are doing. You see, the promise isn't to me that you need to make. The promise you need to make is to yourself that you will do this because you will benefit fully by this, and it's not simply by the money. We have this idea that money is the thing, and the truth of the matter is your esteem, your confidence, all of those things are a lot more important. As I shift here, hold the phone, boom, there I am. There's so many things that I want to do in my life, and one of them is to certainly help inspire people to look within themselves and to exercise. And when I say even to challenge themselves, it's not so much that you are making things worse for yourself. Challenge yourself to make things better. Challenge yourself to find the ability, the way to discover how to go about improving the quality of your life, and realizing that your yes means yes and your no means no. We have been talked out of the belief, the self-belief, that when we say no to something, that is the beginning and end of any discussion about things. When you know it, we are being told to listen to people who are, to our faces, or should I say to cameras, are telling us things that, quite frankly, are unfathomable to common sense. And yet, instead of, we can complain about it, or you can let it be known that this is no longer acceptable. A lot of people have been really affected by the habits that they've taken on, which have eroded self-esteem. I love the fact that Co-op Crowd gives you a way to restore your own self-esteem, build on your own confidence, and build your sufficiency. It rewards you with improvements in your own sufficiency, self-sufficiency, by cooperating with others, doing the same thing. It's not a point where you're asking for someone to help you and who are depleting themselves by it. You're asking someone to literally join you in helping themselves. How cool is that? So with that, I will see if I have, in fact, let's see, that's a co-op. I'll see what I can turn on here real fast. Nah, I don't want to turn that one on. Here it is. That one I can do. You'll see it down below. If you are joining on my invitation, then you will be able to enter that code, and I'll have it in the description below as well. So with that, that's my VBR. I hope I've answered all questions that you will have. I hope I've communicated a feeling to you. Well, whether I have or not, this is it. Okay. And I've got things that I certainly want to create with that flow. But part of it is the joy of knowing that everyone that's joining this journey is doing the same thing for themselves. That is pretty cool. It's unique and pretty cool. So with that, thank you again. Until next time, peace. Be well. This is Adam Abraham.